Let's talk about sponsors. A lot of social media influencers have sponsors. These are usually brands, organizations, or some sort of entities that are essentially picked social media influencers as part of their advertisement budget. Usually, those brands still advertise on television and radio, even and newspapers sometimes, but all over the internet as well. But they understand that whenever they advertise with social media influencers, it works much better, because whenever a social media influencer says, hey, I wear these shoes and I love them, you should buy them, that is worth so much more, because your audience, the audience of the social media influencer who's telling his or her audience about this, trust him or her, and therefore this is more of a personal recommendation rather than a blunt advertisement like a billboard or a television commercial. So this is not a brand to customer advertising, it's brand to social media influencer to customer advertising, and is much more powerful, and more brands are coming around. Now I have to say that I've been talking to a lot of brands where I thought my YouTube channel is absolutely perfect for, but they're just not ready. They have the money, they want to reach my viewers. However, they just don't understand how this works. So this is a very much a growing thing, if you will. So the more time passes by, the more and more brands are going to be realizing this, understanding how to work with social media influencers, and there will be more money invested into people like us. Now, of course, don't forget that it comes with a price, because a lot of times sponsors, sometimes want to control your content. They want to control the message. They want to control what other sponsors you have, and you have to draw a line. In my case, because I am a journalist, I cannot have a brand mess around with my content. It has to be independent. And I did have to decline a few sponsors because they just wanted to make sure that they get into the editing of the videos with me, what I can or cannot say. They wanted to make sure that I will never talk badly about their brand in the future videos, which I could never promise, because when I do news, there are negative stories about all kinds of brands in my industry. So don't forget, there's a price to pay, and you want to make sure that when you do create contracts with those brands, you draw the line in those contracts so they understand where they can and cannot control you and your content. Of course, there's so many other things that you have to worry about, but I have a separate course on that. Not only how to get them, because let's face it, when you're a smaller YouTuber or social media influencer, brands don't necessarily want to talk to you. As a matter of fact, a lot of times you're just not even worth their time. No matter how perfect your small audience is for them, they are only concentrated on reaching a large chunk of audiences at a time. And in that course, I explain how you can still manage, but also what kind of brands you should be going for, because there are plenty of brands out there that would work with the smaller influencers, and that's where the connection needs to happen. All right, so let's talk about a couple of different ways how brands can sponsor your social media following, and both of them are, I have a preference of one of them over the other one. You probably can guess what it is based on my previous parts of this course, but there is a one-time sponsorship and a recurring sponsorship. So let's talk about those right now.